At Manhattan University, a graduate degree is not out of reach. You'll gain real-world skills, credentials employers value, and connections to New York City's top companies. Choose from their new Master of Science degrees in Healthcare Informatics, Digital Marketing and Analytics, Business Analytics, or Financial Analytics, all built around hands-on learning and industry partnerships. Graduate ready to lead, not just work. Take the next step at manhattan.edu/graduate. Manhattan University. Lead the future.
It's the 77 WABC News Hour.
Talking the news with Noam Laden.
All the news you need to know with Joe Nolan, traffic, Justin Ellick, sports. And now,
Talking the news with Noam
on 77 WABC.
Yes, that's me. Good morning. It is Tuesday, March 10th. Your forecast from the 77 WABC Weather Center. You'll see some dense fog this morning, sunshine this afternoon. The high's going to hit 73. I like that. Tonight and overnight, partly cloudy, low 50. And then Wednesday, we'll start with some clouds. Could see some late day showers, the high 65. If you're walking out the door with us right now, 44 and foggy in Huntington out on Long Island. It's 48 and clear in Montclair over in New Jersey. And it's 46 and clear right outside our Midtown studios.
This is the Top 5 at 5.
We are learning a whole lot more about those would-be teenage terrorists. President Trump gives an update on the war in Iran, a coyote on the attack in Westchester, a wild and sad double hit and run in Brooklyn, and a New Jersey town does battle over naming a school after President Trump. All right, let's get into it at 5:01. We're learning more about those two men accused of igniting homemade bombs during a protest outside Gracie Mansion. This was over the weekend on Saturday, and they waived their Miranda rights, and they spoke a lot to investigators after they were arrested. Is 18-year-old Amir Balat, 19-year-old Ibrahim Kayomi, both from Bucks County, Pennsylvania, which is a suburb of Philadelphia, indicted yesterday on federal charges of attempting to support ISIS and use of a weapon of mass destruction. Police Commissioner Jessica Tisch talking about these two yesterday, saying that they were inspired by ISIS and wanted to be so-called infidels to die. That's what they told detectives.
The defendants were inspired by ISIS to carry out their attack. There should be no confusion about what ISIS constitutes. It is a designated foreign terrorist organization responsible for deadly terrorist attacks across the globe.
Both men face federal charges for allegedly throwing those improvised explosive devices during that anti-Islam protest and a counter-protest on Saturday. Those bombs were filled with nails and bolts, and if they had gone off, they easily could have killed people in the area. Tisch says the men told them they wanted to carry out an attack that was bigger than the Boston Marathon bombing. Here's more from the police commissioner.
After being advised of his Miranda rights and waiving those rights, Kayomi said in recorded post-arrest statements that he had watched ISIS propaganda on his phone and that his actions that day were partly inspired by ISIS.
And the police commissioner here reading what was allegedly said by the suspects.
She said, "This isn't a religion that just stands when people talk about the blessed name of the prophet. We take action, we take action." As well as, if I didn't do it, someone else will come and do it.
So Balat, Kayomi, again, both from Bucks County, Pennsylvania, each charged 5 counts. It's a list of charges, but basically they're being charged as foreign terrorist organization, use of a weapon of mass destruction. It goes on and on. They could face a lot of jail time. Their lawyer, he was in the city yesterday, the lawyer for Balat. He was here, and he was defending his client, saying that he's a good kid.
He used to play on his school's wrestling team. He was a good student. He was a good son. He wasn't involved in anything.
Is your client a member of ISIS?
Not to my knowledge.
All right, so the two suspects made their first court appearance yesterday where a judge ordered them to remain in federal custody, and they set a preliminary hearing that will take place on April 8th. Overnight, Iran launched new attacks at Gulf Arab countries as it keeps up the pressure in the region. We were watching on this morning in the Middle East as incoming missile sirens sounded in Dubai and the United Arab Emirates. Emirates, Bahrain, while Saudi Arabia says it destroyed 2 drones this morning over its oil-rich eastern region, and Kuwait's National Guard said it had to shoot down 6 drones. Israeli strikes also taking place early this morning. They hit southern and eastern Lebanon. State media reported that Israel targeted Hezbollah, of course, at a powerful Iran proxy. In addition to firing missiles and drones at Israel and American bases in the region, Iran has been targeting energy infrastructure, which, combined with its stranglehold of the Strait of Hormuz, has been sending oil prices soaring over the last couple weeks. The president last night spoke about this and more. He says the U.S. military is making huge progress towards its objectives in Iran.
We're achieving major strides toward completing our military objective. And some people could say they're pretty well complete. We've wiped every single force in Iran out very completely.
The president says the U.S. ahead of its Iran timeline by a lot.
We've struck over 5,000 targets to date, some of them very major targets. And we've left some of the most important targets for later in case we need to do it. Most of Iran's naval power has been sunk. It's on the bottom of the sea. It's almost 50 ships. I was just notified it's 51 ships. I didn't know they had that many. Didn't last very long.
Of course, 7 U.S. service members have been killed since Operation Epic Fury began back on February 28th. Again, missiles flying back and forth this morning. Of course, as more comes in on the war in Iran and we see what's going on this morning, we'll pass that on to you. Meanwhile, U.S. government alerting law enforcement that Iran may be activating sleeper cells here.
The federal government alert says it intercepted encrypted communications believed to have originated in Iran that may serve as an operational trigger for sleeper assets outside the country. The alert cites preliminary signals analysis of a transmission likely of Iranian origin that was sent across multiple countries after the death of Supreme Leader Ayatollah Khamenei. The alert says the transmission appeared to be destined for clandestine recipients who have the encryption key. I'm Mark Neefield.
And we continue to hear from everyday Americans about what they think about what's going on in Iran. Here are some people who say they support the president.
We finally can celebrate peace in the Middle East. A good Iran is going to make a good Middle East, and a good Middle East is going to make a better world.
Others not so sure they support what's happening.
We're proud of our soldiers that they gave their life for America and also for Iran, and we're honoring them.
We're saying no more to endless wars in the Middle East at the expense of our people and our tax dollars and our ability to live in the United States.
Oil has hit $100 a barrel, first time since July of 2022. Oil traders say the ripple effects from the conflict in Iran are continuing to hit the global markets hard.
Gulf nations have cut back on oil and gas production because the flow of oil to the wider world has been disrupted. There are also fears of attacks on oil and gas installations.
Yeah, so as oil continues to rise following a record 35% jump last week, gas prices, of course, up as well.
One stage overnight, Brent crude cost almost $120 a barrel. That's $25 higher than it was on Friday afternoon.
Yeah, so AAA puts the national average of a gallon of gas this morning, $3.47. WABC News Time 509 insiders at the White House continue to talk about this surprise economic deal they want to make with Cuba. Now, Democrats not sure the president can pull that off.
He understands attacking, but not the delicate diplomatic work that must occur before and after. And he doesn't understand what would need to be done to protect the Cuban people the day or the week or the year after the Castro regime is done.
But President Trump over the weekend at that Shield of America summit in Florida said just like the historic transformation in Venezuela, he says he's looking forward to great change coming to Cuba soon. Again, Democrats throwing cold water on this.
Everyone wants to see a free Cuba, but I don't have faith that Donald Trump can be the leader to safely and peacefully transition yet another regime change.
I'm not sure the president cares about that, but he says he plans to send Secretary Rubio to the island nation for talks sometime soon. Have you been watching these long lines, this partial government shutdown really having its effect now as people get away for spring break? The next couple of weeks really big for high school kids or kids that are, under college age as they off for the week. College kids flying all across the country as well. And we've been watching these long security checkpoint lines at some of the nation's biggest airports because these TSA workers are not collecting a paycheck in this partial government shutdown. And that means some of them have decided not to show up for work. Correspondent Stephanie Gosk has been watching this at airports across the country, including Houston's Hobby Airport.
The Department of Homeland Security blaming some delays on the partial government shutdown, saying TSA agents are now set to face their first full missed paycheck, which could lead to crippling staffing shortages.
I was watching this at Newark Airport yesterday. There were complaints that the lines were very long. And then if you went a different part of the day, they weren't terrible. Now, in Atlanta, New Orleans, travelers advised to arrive at least 3 hours early. This is for domestic flights, not international ones. It comes amid what's expected to be a record-breaking spring break travel season. 171 million people expected to fly over the next couple weeks.
Airlines are bracing for a record-breaking spring break travel season, with about 171 million people expected to fly, up 4% from last year. But with the Iran war causing oil costs to soar, jet fuel prices are rising. The price you pay for airfare may soon go sky high.
So far it hasn't. And again, with that 171 million people, a lot of people expected to fly. This traveler says the lines were just too long, and he was worried about whether he's going to make the flight or not.
We already missed our flight, so now we got to try to figure out what's the next step.
Yeah, and we've been seeing that across airports across the nation. So if you're somebody planning on flying the next couple of days, for sure you want to give yourself some extra time at the airport. 512 down to Alabama, where death row inmate Charles Sonny Burton is scheduled to be executed on Thursday in the shooting death of an Army veteran inside an AutoZone. In a phone interview from death row, Burton says the whole thing's unfair.
I shouldn't die for something I haven't done.
So Burton did not pull the trigger in the 1991 murder, but was still eligible for the death penalty under Alabama's felony murder law. He was outside the store at the time. The man who did pull the trigger, sentenced to life without parole. Death penalty opponents and the victim's family urging the governor there, Kay Ivey, to grant him clemency. The 75-year-old scheduled to be put to death by nitrogen gas on Thursday night. Correspondent Dan Slepian says in 1991, Burton and 5 other men committed an armed robbery at the AutoZone in Talladega County.
He grabbed cash, then ran outside and waited at the car. Inside, an accomplice shot and killed a customer named Doug Battle. Did you know a murder was about to happen?
No, I would have stopped that.
When she set Burton's execution date, she said she has no current plans to grant clemency in this case. But she added she retains her authority to change her mind at any time.
Yeah, so it could be a last-minute reprieve. Burton denies prosecutors' claims that he was the robbery's ringleader.
I didn't assist nobody. I didn't aid nobody. I didn't tell nobody to shoot nobody.
Deadline, of course, Thursday. 513. 2 Texas brothers were prominent members of a nationally recognized mariachi band. They've been freed from immigration custody now. Congresswoman Monica De La Cruz secured the release of 18-year-old Antonio Cuellar.
We have been praying for their family over the last couple of days, and thankfully he is now beside me.
ICE said in a previous statement that the family had entered the country illegally and were being detained while their claims were heard. It's unclear what changed and why they were all of a sudden released.
This day should not be about politics. What this day is about common sense enforcement policy.
While we're down in Texas, a Muslim parent suing Texas for excluding Islamic schools from the state's new school choice program. The lawsuit names the comptroller in Texas, Kelly Hancock, who recently talked about the issue in San Antonio.
We found some of those providers were linked to both foreign adversaries and were hosting events for terrorist organizations.
Yeah, Governor Abbott had designated both CARE and the Muslim Brotherhood as foreign terrorist organizations. The man who's suing is a recent immigrant from Morocco, and his 2 kids now attend an Islamic school in Houston, but they're not sure where the money's coming from to support this school.
He came back, supported our position, said he would defend our position. We did it. We had the Attorney General's support. He wrote an opinion that agrees with our opinion that we took.
Yeah, so the parent there may not have a lot of ground to stand on. In a moment, we'll tell you how the Small Business Administration is no longer going to give loans to non-citizens. You might be surprised they were giving them to non-citizens anyway. We'll do that in a moment. But first, 5:15, let's head over to the 77 WABC Sports Desk. And good morning, Justin Ellick.
Good morning to you, Noam Layden. Start here on the hardwood out in Los Angeles. Knicks lost 126-118 to the Clippers. Karl Anthony Towns led the Knicks, 35 points on 13 of 17 shooting, 12 rebounds, 7 assists before fouling out in the final seconds. Jalen Brunson added 28 points, and OG Anunoby had 22. Standing third in the Eastern Conference race, the Knicks split the season series with the Clippers. New York has dropped 3 of 4. Up next for them, they'll visit the Jazz in Utah tomorrow. In Brooklyn, Daron Sharp matched season high with 19 points. Ochai Agbaji, there you go, added 18, and the Nets beat the injury-plagued Memphis Grizzlies 126-115 for their second straight victory. Nolan Traore added 17 points for the Nets, who are coming off an improbable win at Eastern Conference, leading Detroit on Saturday night. That snapped a 10-game skid. Nets rested leading scorer Michael Porter Jr. and earlier Monday announced that Igor Dimin will miss the rest of the season with plantar fasciitis in his left foot. The 6'8" rookie averaged 10.3 points in 52 games. Head to the World Baseball Classic here. Aaron Judge hit a 2-run homer out in Houston, and Roman Anthony added a 3-run blast in a big third inning to lead the United States to a 5-3 win over Mexico. The U.S. improved to 3-0 and will meet Italy tonight, seeking to secure a spot in the quarterfinals in Houston this weekend. First pitch there tonight is scheduled for 9 p.m. On the ice in Philly, Mika Zibanejad had 2 goals and an assist. Rangers scored on 3 power plays in a 6-2 win over the Flyers. Up next for them, they're back at home tonight hosting the Calgary Flames for a 7 p.m. puck drop. Also tonight, the Islanders, they're back in action, 7:30 p.m. puck drop out in St. Louis against the Blues. Slew of big moves yesterday as well in NFL free agency. Noam, I don't know if you saw any of this movement around. As an Eagles fan, we saw a bunch of guys leave town. Reed Blankenship, Nakobe Dean, guys that helped us win a Super Bowl a couple of years ago. But across the league, Tua Tagovailoa, he signs a 1-year deal with the Falcons. Steelers add running back Rico Dowdle on a 2-year deal. The Seahawks, they're keeping Rashid Shaheed in the fold with a $51 million contract. And star wide receiver Mike Evans, he's leaving the Bucs to sign with the 49ers. So that's your big headlines yesterday coming out of NFL free agency. And that's your sports, Noam Layden. I'm Justin Ellick on 77 WABC.
WABC News Time 520. A nationwide ground stop for all JetBlue flights has been lifted.
The FAA issued the notice early Tuesday saying the airline had made the request, but not offering further details. JetBlue now says a brief system outage has been resolved and we have resumed operations. Ground stops temporarily halt flights, typically for safety or operational problems. I'm Mark Mayfield.
Over to New Jersey. Watch out if you're driving in and around Ocean County this afternoon, since extra police going to be out in traffic patrols as part of that statewide Goal Zero campaign.
Always a good idea to drive safely and sober without holding the phone, and it'll be a smart idea too, especially if driving around Ocean County from 3 to 7 p.m. today, because that is when extra patrols will be out in the county to make sure traffic laws are being followed, so no following too closely either. The county prosecutor's office is working with local police on this Goal Zero high visibility campaign, as in the goal is for 0 traffic-related deaths, because the prosecutor says as of last Friday, there have been 73 too many so far this year around New Jersey, and says 8 of those traffic deaths were in Ocean County. I'm Lee Von Putney.
521 over to Michigan. We're looking at the damage done by those tornadoes over the weekend. Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer declaring a state of emergency in 3 counties as a result of the tornadoes that hit the area over the weekend in 3 rivers. Brady Zent says the devastation there is just unbelievable.
It's like everything you work so hard for. Gone.
Yeah, at least 4 killed in the deadliest tornado outbreak the state has seen really in decades. Meanwhile, over in Oklahoma, an EF2 killed a mother and daughter, while another twister left 2 others dead. In Oklahoma, Kevin Turner says he yelled at his family to get into the cellar as the tornado approached.
I was looking out, and you could see the flashes of light from town when it lost power.
Yeah, so those emergency declarations declared yesterday. 522, Small Business Administration Administration says the U.S. no longer giving loans to non-citizens. In a video shot in San Diego, the SBA administrator, Kelly Loeffler, says California businesses, including some owned by foreign nationals, stole nearly $9 billion during the pandemic.
I'm here in San Diego, standing at an address that is registered to 14 businesses that took $2 million in pandemic-era loans. Those loans haven't been paid back, but this is just the tip of the iceberg.
So she says small business owners applying for SBA loans are now required to be American citizens.
We're suspending 112,000 California borrowers who took potentially upwards of $9 billion. Just like Minnesota, California is another state whose socialist welfare policies have invited fraud.
From California said down to Florida, the Attorney General there warning parents to police your kids' use of social media following the arrests of 1,400 of child predators in the past year. The Florida Attorney General announcing 3 of the latest arrests for possession of child pornography and bestiality. And he says when he sees these arrests, he said you should be staring at your kids' phones. They should hand them over to you during the course of the day so you can see what they're up to.
These are not victimless crimes. People are getting hurt here. The videos from Pasco County involved sexual abuse of babies, of toddlers, the most heinous of acts.
He says Discord, Roblox, TikTok, Instagram, other social media platforms being used by predators to contact your kids.
It's a record, but it's not one you're really proud of. I mean, we're proud we've locked up 1,400 plus child predators. It's a shame that they're out there, but they just keep coming.
And he says if you trust your kids to do the right thing, you probably shouldn't, because they may not know who's trying to contact them.
So for parents at home, wake up. This is one of the most popular apps for young people, and it is riddled with predators and pornography.
And he's talking about TikTok and Instagram.
By the way, that's a huge story.
Yeah.
I'm glad you covered that. Roblox especially. Danielle and I had to take Gabriel off of Roblox years ago. He may have been 13, and he said, Mommy, Daddy, I have a new friend. So we did our homework because we're both great parents. Turns out I was a 27-year-old guy.
Oh, my God.
And, they actually have these kids. They convince them to give out addresses and meet them in certain spots.
Or send pictures.
Exactly right. So it's funny because somebody just said this to me on Friday. They're like, my kid wants to play Roblox. I'm afraid to let them. I wanted to bring on a guest and discuss this, the real dangers of allowing our kids to play some of these games. I couldn't figure out a guest, and boom, here we are 4 days later, and you're covering the story.
Lionel's wife, she's very involved in this kind of thing, just a suggested guest.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, she's great.
Oh, she is great.
Lynn Shaw.
Let's get Lynn Shaw on the show. Let's book her.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Sure. The former chaplain for the Austin, Texas Fire Department, who was fired for his opposition to transgender sports participation, has settled his lawsuit now against the city.
This can be an example to others to stand their ground.
Andrew Fox, on his personal blog, said that he believed allowing biological men to compete in women's sports contradicts what's in the Bible. And he was fired for those statements, but now he's gotten his job back. He sued for his free speech rights.
I hope that people don't compromise on their faith. They don't back down from their Christian faith.
Yeah, so the city settled out of court and has since apologized. Andrew Fox hopes that settlement will be inspirational to others who, he says, have the right to say whatever they want. 5:25. The course for the historic Freedom 250 Grand Prix out of Washington, D.C. has been revealed. Fox Sports CEO Eric Shanks says the race that'll take place this summer will be the most distinctly American race ever.
It really is an honor to stand here as we prepare to bring the world's fastest sport to the heart of the world's most powerful city.
President Trump signed an executive order establishing the first motor race ever to be held in the nation's capital on the National Mall as part of America's 250th birthday celebration.
And we're here today because of President Trump's executive order, which literally paved the way for this race to become a cornerstone of our national celebration.
Yeah, what a wild place to hold a race. It'll be interesting. It'll take place August 21st through the 23rd on the Mall and in city streets, and it will air there on Fox. Pope Leo has been given a new customized Ford Explorer Premium by the Ford Motor Company's CEO.
The Farleys personally delivered the SUV to the Chicago-born Pope during a private meeting late last month. The vehicle was built at the Chicago Assembly Plant about 5 miles from Leo's hometown of Dolton, Illinois. The SUV has vanity license plates of De Pope and Leo XIV. The Chicago flag and city skyline are stitched into the center console, and engravings of Chicago and St. Peter's Basilica are on the scuff plates near the bottom of the doors. I'm Tammy Trujillo.
It's the 77 WABC News Hour.
Talking the news with Noam Laden.
All the news you need to know with Joe Nolan, traffic, Justin Ellick, sports. And now,
Talking the news with Noam
on 77 WABC.
Yes, that's me. Good morning. It is Tuesday, March 10th. Your forecast from the 77 WABC Weather Center. See some dense fog this morning. Sunshine this afternoon. The high's going to be 73. Tonight and overnight, partly cloudy, low 50. And then Wednesday, clouds in the morning. Could see some late day showers, high 65. If you're walking out the door with us right now, so happy you are. It's 44 and foggy in Huntington out on Long Island. It's 48 and clear in Montclair over in New Jersey. And it's 46 and clear right outside our Midtown studios. WABC News Time 540. Monday marked 1 year since the detention of former Columbia University student Mahmoud Khalil. Federal agents took him into custody for his involvement in pro-Palestinian protests. Khalil has since been released, but his deportation case is still tied up in court. While Khalil may now be free from detention, he's not free, he says, from the fear and the possibility he could still be deported.
It's really impacting everything in our life. Like I don't go on walks with my child alone, fearing that there would be arbitrary detention from this administration, that, you know, my American child would be also deported because they have done it.
The Trump administration accuses Khalil of promoting anti-Semitism for his pro-Palestinian speeches. He was ordered released by a federal immigration judge a number of months later. But today, Khalil says he can't find a job because employers don't want to risk hiring him. And it remains uncertain if he'll be around, he says, for his newborn child. Department of Homeland Security plans to rearrest Khalil, deport him to Algeria. Last night, the mayor posted a photo on social media of him along with Khalil, saying he and his wife marked the 1 year anniversary of Mahmoud's detention by welcoming him to Gracie Mansion. DHS now claims that Khalil lied on his green card application, but those accusations Khalil denies. He has a hearing that's set for a little bit later this month. Police need your help in Brownsville, Brooklyn, where two drivers hit the same man early Saturday morning, leaving him for dead. He passed away. Authorities say a light-colored SUV was driving through a green light when the man was hit at the intersection of Linden Boulevard and Rockaway Avenue. It was about 4 a.m. The driver immediately left the scene, and then another driver ran over him a second time. Well, people in the neighborhood say they know who this guy is. He's a homeless man who panhandles on the street.
It's sad. Feel sorry for the person. Everybody's, a lot is concerned.
It's pretty shocking the car didn't stop because the person, he died.
It is a dangerous corner. The panhandling thing is not something we can really get around, but I just wish that drivers were more cognizant because that's pretty dangerous.
Yeah, amazingly, two drivers, not just one, leave this guy. One hits him, another one runs him over. You sort of can't make this stuff up. The incident comes just days after a 4-year-old boy was killed in a hit and run about 4 blocks away less than a week ago. People say this neighborhood, or at least this intersection anyway, can sometimes be dangerous.
It's beginning to show that it's not safe. And I've been living over here for like 20-something years, so it's been increased more now than in the past.
Yeah, eventually they'll catch up with these drivers. Don't understand why you wouldn't stay at the scene. Police have not identified the individual who was killed in this accident over the weekend. NYPD cops, they say they continue to search for the man that pushed 2 people onto the subway tracks minutes apart Sunday morning on the Upper East Side. This happened about 11:30 a.m. at the Lexington Avenue 63rd Street station. A 30-year-old man was standing on the platform when when he was pushed from behind, fell onto the tracks. That same person who pushed him then pushed an 83-year-old man from behind onto the tracks and then ran away. Now, both victims were taken to the hospital. Yesterday, they told us they were doing okay, but apparently that's not the case. The 30-year-old is in stable condition, but the 83-year-old is in critical condition. The younger victim told Eyewitness News yesterday that he was totally caught by surprise when he was pushed out of nowhere. He says no words were exchanged. He said he was just shoved onto the tracks. Of course, all this is so worrisome to everyday riders who have seen this before, these push shoves onto the tracks. They seem to come one incident after another and then go away for a while.
It's horrible. I mean, the fact that, they fall down on these tracks, they could be electrocuted. And if the train is coming, it could be crushed.
We can't seem to get them out of the streets and the subways. And, they're posing a danger to riders.
And she's talking about the fact that a fair amount of these people who, once they are arrested, we find out they have mental health issues. The NYPD says so far this year, there have been 9 subway pushes, which is up compared to 3 at this time last year. They're offering a $3,500 reward to anybody who gives them information that leads to an arrest of this latest dope who pushed these 2 over the weekend. Coming up on 5:45, let's head over to the 77 WABC Sports Desk, and here's Justin Ellick.
Thank you, Noam Liddon. Start here on the hardwood in Los Angeles. Knicks lost 126-118 to the Clippers. Karl Anthony Towns led the Knicks, 35 points on 13 of 17 shooting, 12 rebounds, 7 assists before fouling out in the final seconds. Jalen Brunson added 28 points, and OG Anunoby had 22. Standing third in the Eastern Conference race, Knicks split the season series with the Clippers. New York has dropped 3 of 4. Up next for him, he'll visit the Jazz in Utah tomorrow night. In Brooklyn, Day'Ron Sharpe matched his season high with 19 points. Ochai Agbaji added 18, and the Nets beat the injury-plagued Grizzlies 126-115 for their second straight victory. Nolan Traore added 17 points for the Nets, who were coming off an improbable win at Eastern Conference leading Detroit on Saturday. That snapped a 10-game skid. The Nets arrested leading scorer Michael Porter Jr. and earlier Monday announced that Igor Demin will miss the rest of the season with plantar fasciitis in his left foot. The 6'8" rookie averaged 10.3 points in 52 games this season. Head to the World Baseball Classic in Houston. Aaron Judge hit a 2-run homer, and Roman Anthony added a 3-run blast in a big third inning to lead the United States to a 5-3 win over Mexico. The U.S. improved to 3-0. Will meet Italy tonight, seeking to secure a spot in the quarterfinals in Houston this weekend. First pitch tonight is scheduled for 9 p.m.
Is Italy known to have a good baseball team?
They're all right. They definitely have a good amount of, you look around the league, there's some Italian names out there.
So it's all basically American or good American players among locals playing for all these teams? So Italy's team has Italian Americans on there?
I would, yes. Jack Caglione is one of their big power bats, and I'm pretty sure he grew up in America. He didn't grow up in name a town in Italy. God, it's too early.
Milan. Or it's like the Jews that play for the Israeli team, right?
Exactly.
They didn't grow up in Israel, but they play for Israel.
Like the Yankees have a pitcher who's playing on Team Israel, and, he didn't grow up in, Tel Aviv. So,
okay.
Right, exactly. But it's, I'm not sure, a lot of these Israeli players, I think the qualification for that team, it's based on your country. And I think you just have to be Jewish. I'm not sure. You don't have to be an Israeli citizen to play on Team Israel.
So that should hold true for any other team. If you're Irish or Italian, you should be able to play for those national teams.
And I think that's why it does.
Okay. Well, fair is, I just want to make sure fair is fair.
I think fair is fair.
Okay.
And by the way, Team Israel, I think they do all right in these things. I think they're 2-1 right now in pool play. So I think 4 years ago they were undefeated in pool play. Went right into the quarterfinals. But so we'll keep track of that tonight. But I think you are correct. No, you don't have to be a citizen of these countries to play. Head to the ice in Philly. Mika Zibanejad had 2 goals and an assist. Rangers scored on 3 power plays in a 6-2 win over the Flyers. Up next from their back at home tonight, hosting the Calgary Flames. That's a 7 p.m. puck drop. Also tonight, Islanders out in St. Louis against the Blues. That gets going at 7:30. That's your Sports Gnome. I'm Justin Ellick, 77 WABC.
WABC News Time 5:49. Let's head over to Colts Neck, New Jersey. It's a Monmouth County, New Jersey town where they're trying to decide whether they can name name one of their elementary schools after President Trump. The idea was raised during a meeting of the Colts Neck Board of Education meeting last week. So the district has two similarly named schools. One is the Conover Road Elementary School, and the other is the Conover Road Primary School. So they said it would be easier if you just named one of them after somebody else. And in this case, it would be President Trump. And as you might guess, in his name gets people who are really excited about the idea of President Trump Elementary School and those who don't like the idea at all. Here's people in Colts Neck.
It's a big Republican area right here in Monmouth County, in a very Democratic state. I think it's all amazing to name things over our presidents. I think it's great.
But not Donald Trump has enough things with his name on it, and we don't need to change the name of the school.
Yeah, so there are at least 18 schools nationwide named after Barack Obama. Joe Biden even has some college schools or schools within colleges named after him. Of the more than 600 schools across the country that are named after presidents, most are named after just 5. I bet you can guess who they all are. John F. Kennedy, Thomas Jefferson, George Washington, Woodrow Wilson, and Abraham Lincoln. So this apparently would be the first school named after President Trump. And so people in town, it's all the talk in Colts Neck about whether they should carry through with it.
I mean, I think he really hasn't done anything of monumental importance for a school to be named after him.
I think it's great. It's all positive. Trump has really done a lot for our country. I'm 100% for it.
I don't think things should be named for a sitting president. I mean, it's all right to memorialize them after a while, but it seems like Trump wants everything in his area named for him.
Yeah, that guy wants to wait till the president passes away to name the school after him. The town apparently going to form some sort of exploratory committee before they make a decision about whether to name a local school after the president. While we're in New Jersey, federal judges there now threatening to dismiss pending criminal cases after the latest Trump appointees to the U.S. Attorney's Office were again rejected yesterday.
In December, federal judges in New Jersey ruled that former Trump personal attorney Alina Habba was appointed U.S. attorney for the state illegally. She was appointed on an interim basis and tried to stay on the job after her interim appointment expired. The Justice Department replaced Habba with 3 people. Monday, a judge ruled that's not legal either. The judge writing that the Trump administration, quote, chafed at the limits on their power set forth by law and the Constitution, and that, quote, the president doesn't like that he simply cannot appoint whomever he wants. I'm Andrew Whitman.
One more story out of the Garden State. Governor Mikey Sherrill, she's getting ready to deliver her first budget address later this afternoon.
Governor Sherrill will detail her fiscal year 2027 spending plan from the Assembly Chamber at the New Jersey State House in Trenton. The newly elected governor has indicated that there will be spending cuts coming, with the state facing a severe structural deficit. During her campaign, the Democrat promised to make New Jersey more affordable and had no plans to increase taxes. The spending cuts could set the stage for a difficult budget season with lawmakers. Governor Murphy had a more than $58 billion budget for fiscal year 2026, which had grown significantly from his $37.2 billion spending plan back in fiscal year 2019. I'm Jennifer Bolsoni.
We are already seeing some long lines at airports across the country this morning. These long lines are for the TSA checkpoints, where TSA workers, some of them who are not receiving a check because of the partial government shutdown, have opted, in some cases, not to show up to work, saying, hey, if you're not going to pay me, I'm not showing up. So flyers here at Newark complaining about the fact it took so long to get through TSA lines.
I've been in this line for 2 hours, over 2 hours.
I would be pretty unhappy if that happened to me, and especially unhappy that would be happening because of political squabbling.
Well, that political squabbling, Democrats refusing to fund the Department of Homeland Security until there are reforms to immigration enforcements following those 2 deadly ICE-involved shootings in Minneapolis. Out to Long Island, where Nassau County Executive Bruce Blakeman delivering his State of the County last night, highlighting what he called progress on crime, the economy, public health. He was also outlining plans related to immigration and workforce development. He said crimes across Nassau County down 10% compared to the same time last year, and he credited that decrease to the work of the Nassau County Police Department in cooperation with ICE.
Our partnership with ICE has removed over 200 illegal migrants
who have committed crimes such as murder, rape, robbery, carjacking, drug dealing, and human trafficking.
During the address, the Nassau County executive also announced he's working with federal officials to launch a guest worker program aimed at helping businesses fill jobs across Nassau County.
Our business community needs these workers. We will continue to work to improve their situation here in Nassau County by working with our federal officials, not against them.
Blakeman says the county's finances are good, but Democrats pushing back against that.
You know, you can say that you're maintaining your budget and not raising taxes, but he is going through about 50% of his savings this year just to cover his shortfalls. I think he's trying to change his image now that he's running for governor, which, by the way, he promised he wouldn't do when he ran for Nassau County executive.
You know, watching at some of the polls, the latest one's about a week ago, Blakeman versus Hochul. And in this latest poll, it looks like a Siena College poll from last week, he has, let's do a max of, combine all the polls, either a 17 to 25 point lead for Governor Hochul as of today, which is March 10th. Of course, the election's not till November. Westchester County health officials warning residents after a rabid coyote attacked 3 people and 2 dogs. This is near the Siwanoy Country Club in Twin Lakes Park. Michael Hines, one of the people, he said he and his 2 dogs encountered this rabid coyote yesterday morning. He said it was awfully frightening.
I walk every day, my 2 dogs, Skittles and Shamrock. Out of nowhere came this rather large grey coyote and attacked me and my 2 dogs.
And he said, thankfully, just one of his dogs was nipped. He was not bitten. And he says, thank God, somebody came along. A neighbor saw what was going on, made all kinds of noise, and that coyote ran away. And he says, this guy might have saved his life.
One of the neighbors in Claudette, Brian, I believe is his name, came to help.
Yeah, so seeing coyotes this time of year is totally normal. Not the rabid ones. That's not normal. And so they say keep your pets close by until they catch this rabid coyote.
Thanks for listening to the News Hour with Noam Laden. You can hear the News Hour with Noam Laden weekday mornings at 5 on 77 WABC. If you like the podcast, share it with your friends and listen anytime at WABCRadio.com and download the WABC Radio app. Hit that subscribe button on all major podcast platforms. Plus, follow WABC on social on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, and X. See you next time for a new episode, so you never have to wonder.
What the heck is going on here?
This is Greg Kelly. Donate now to Toys for Tots, which works year-round. Go to toysfortots.org. Toys for Tots supports children in need throughout the year with programs like the Toys for Tots Literacy Program. Established in 2008, it has provided over 63 million books to disadvantaged children. The Toys for Tots Literacy Program is committed to providing disadvantaged children with direct access to books and educational resources that enhance their ability to read and communicate effectively. Go to toysfortots.org.